Welcome back to the Virtual Compound. In today's episode, we're talking travel. Amelia and her family took a well-earned month-long trip to Australia and New Zealand, and she's got all the stories and insight in planning this incredible vacation. Hello, I'm Katie.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Amelia. Oh, what day is it? It is Saturday, and it is 9 exactly a.m.
And it is Friday in Maryland, and it is 8 p.m.
And it is 5 p.m. in Southern California. Okay, let's get into this. I've been dying to hear about this trip ever since you got back. Even before you left, I was excited. So we've talked about it a little bit. You've shared a little bit of photos, but let's, get into this because the photos blew my mind. They were phenomenal. So how was it overall?
It was so good. It's like not real. You know what I mean? Like there were so many parts of, especially New Zealand, but Australia as well, that, I mean, the kids kind of live in like things and time and space are like sort of different for them because of how young they are. But there were so many parts of this trip that Sam and I were like, is this real life? Is this?
Well, yeah.
Surely we didn't like drive down an interstate, or I don't know. I guess I don't know what they call them there, but like basically like a giant not giant. They're not very big. A highway in New Zealand with like several waterfalls cascading over the highway.
Oh my gosh!
Wow!
Right? That's not real,
amazing.
Right?
That's people don't like use this to commute to work, right?
I mean,
surely not.
Surely not.
So
surely
magical.
This is not where people live.
It was made just for travel and movies. That was it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. 100%. It was magical. It was so good. I cannot recommend going to both places enough. Like, if it is in the cards or could ever potentially be in the cards for anyone, it's magical. Highly recommend.
So, which did you spend half and half, or were you in New Zealand longer?
Oh yeah. So, I guess to make this whole thing make sense, I should tell you like what we did. So we did. Okay, this is gonna sound silly, and I always have to explain this. It has been on me and Sam's bucket list since like we got together. So I don't know however many years that is. It's a long time. To like swim in the Great Barrier Reef, right? Like to snorkel the Great Barrier Reef.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're halfway there, living in Japan, we're like, well, this is it. Might as well. So we flew from Tokyo to Brisbane, and we did some things in Brisbane, and then we drove up to like the very furthest southern point that you can possibly access the Great Barrier Reef in this town called Bundaberg. And then we drove back down to Brisbane, and we flew out of Brisbane to Auckland, and we did like I don't know, like 10-ish days in North Island, and we did like a circle, and then we flew. So we started in Auckland and ended at Auckland, and then we flew from Auckland to Christchurch. And then we did like 10-ish days on South Island, and we started in Christchurch and ended in Christchurch, and then we flew out of there back to Japan. It was
wow.
It was like so phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was how we did it. Did that answer your question?
I mean, I think so. I mean, we can go back, and when we go back and re-listen to this, we'll know if it answered the question.
Yeah.
Replay.
Basically, you were on vacation mode. You knew that you had to look at your phone to keep track of the days and when your flights were, and that's it. And that was like a perfect vacation because you didn't track time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And send you guys Marco Polos of
kangaroos like that. Okay, all right, let's just jump into that. Can you just jump into that, please? Because I still like that your videos with the pool. Oh my gosh. And we just had a streaker. Not really, he's dressed everybody.
So hi Wyatt. So we landed in Brisbane, and then
he went again.
We landed in Brisbane, and we, like, hindsight, right? I don't I think Sam and I both think that we're like much younger and without children whenever we book plane tickets. Because we booked like overnight plane tickets because we're like, oh, well, we'll get there and then we'll have all day. And that was really dumb.
In theory, it's great.
In theory, it's great, but like we didn't sleep at all on the airplane and our flight was pretty delayed.
And it's
So we were literally awake. It's like 8 hours
okay.
from Tokyo. So we were literally awake like all day and then all night and then the day that we got there. So like all day again.
Did the kids sleep?
Oh yeah, of course. They like
Okay.
crashed out like across us.
Okay.
You know,
course
because
they
they're little and still spread out
Yeah.
over the plane seats. They were still tired though, which is good. So we, on the advice of someone much more intelligent and a better traveler than I am, they said, "Well, book a hotel for like the night before, because when you get there, if you want to go to the hotel, you won't be able to until like 3 or 4 o'clock,
Right.
and you'll
That's
have
a good idea.
all day with like, and if you're tired or whatever, you're just stuck." And it's like, that's really good. So we did that. And then we just kind of hung out in Brisbane, and it's such a cute town. And we didn't even know this town. It's a city. It's where Bluey's from.
Bluey?
Bluey?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Bluey.
So
Oh,
Bluey is from
did you hear
Brisbane, and they
Lexi?
have these like
Lexi's down here. She goes, I like Bluey.
yes, I like Bluey too. And they have these like little maps you can like get, and like you can drive to the little like various places that like Bluey goes to. It
Oh,
was
that's
so
awesome.
fun. So we did that, and that was like an unexpected, like unplanned thing. And they have these little ferry doors that you can walk all over the city and see. So we did that. And then the big like thing in Australia is obviously like the Great Barrier Reef and the animals, right? Like koalas and giraffes and wallabies and all the things. Not giraffes, kangaroos. I haven't had coffee. I'm not caffeinated because we are out of coffee, and it's a whole
Oh,
thing.
no.
So then we drove up like north of Brisbane to where the Steve Irwin Zoo is, the Australia Zoo.
Nice.
And we stayed in like the cabins that are like a part of the zoo, and they're like real bougie cabins. This is not camping.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
super bougie. And they're so nice and super comfortable. And like you get in to the zoo area and it just smells like eucalyptus. It
Oh.
smells so good. It's I don't even
Well, and I remember you
I
saying
love
something
eucalyptus.
about that and it being eucalyptus, but not the eucalyptus that like we
yes.
are used
It
to.
doesn't smell like if you like open a bottle of essential oils and like smell eucalyptus, like that's not what it smells like. I don't know. It smelled so good. And the pool is an infinity pool that looks out over this like field where like kangaroo and wallaby and koala are like
Just there.
exist. And as you're swimming, and it's just like you're swimming next to a kangaroo.
I don't care if your sister took your floaty. There's a kangaroo.
There's a kangaroo.
The kids were like, "Tie me in the pool, tie me in the pool," and I'm like, "Look at the kangaroo."
So it looked from your picture and like your video, there's nothing keeping the kangaroos from hopping up on the pool deck, right? Or is there?
It does appear that way, but there is.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's pretty high. It's much higher up than like where their field is.
Okay.
I guess if like one got real motivated, they might be able to, but
Right.
so
Like-
that was a thing.
High jumping kangaroos.
Yeah. Like maybe
you never know.
Oh, duh.
yeah. And they're huge. They're
Yeah.
huge. Like, you know, they're
Yeah.
in like all kids, a bunch of kids' books, and like we all grew up watching Crocodile Hunter and all that.
Right.
They're giant. They're huge. It's crazy how big they are, and they're really, really soft.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that though. I would have thought they were
That's
coarse.
awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would have thought that they were more like the capybara or something. That they look kind of soft and cuddly, and then they're like just gross and
Yeah.
No, they're so soft. And so, you know, we did the zoo. And when you stay there, you get like the day you check in, and then like every day that you're there, you get, and the day you check out, you get tickets to it's like included in the package. You get tickets to the zoo.
Oh, nice.
So we went to
Oh,
the
nice.
zoo. like 3 times because it's the most phenomenal zoo I've ever been to in my life. It's
I'm sure.
so well laid out and it's super educational, which like I nerded out about and Josh liked, but Clara was like,
Yeah.
when is the
Can I just hold the koala?
Yeah. Can I hold the koala? Crocodile eat the chicken. Are we gonna see the crocodile eat the chicken?
I love that girl.
What about now? Can I hold the koala now? Are we gonna go hold the koala now?
Hey,
Did
don't
she
do
get
that.
to hold a koala?
She did hold a koala.
Yay. We were talking about her when we went to the zoo last week. Like, oh, did she ever hold a koala? I hope she held a koala. And we were like, when we were looking at the koalas.
Oh yeah, she held a koala. And there's this whole part of the zoo where you like buy feed, and then you go
nice.
into this like giant enclosure, and you feed like wallaby and kangaroo. If we had let her, she probably would have spent like all day
There.
in that place, like going and feeding kangaroo and wallaby. And
Yeah.
she just like flounced like everywhere, like little like Sprite with like kangaroo food, like. And there was
Loves
like
me.
all around her, and so she sat down and was like talking to them and like feeding kangaroo, and I was like, "Is this what, Clara? Like, is this it?" Good.
Oh, I could see that. That's adorable. She's a sweetheart. I love that. That's
It was
amazing.
so that's cool. Definitely, it's absolutely worth it. Must do. And I know that other people are like, it's so touristy. Whatever. It was amazing. And they sing this like real cheesy, like during the Croc show. There's this like real cheesy like Steve Irwin song that is like on the screen and is played, and it's cheesy and ridiculous, and it's amazing.
It's like
That's
Pineapple
awesome.
Park song. Just
Yes.
like over
Like-
the top.
Make Man.
Yes.
Anywhere
Yeah.
in Japan, really. Yeah.
And they're like theme songs. It was fantastic. And then after that, we went and drove up to Bundaberg, which is where this like ginger beer apparently
Yes.
is
My-
made.
My parents had it shipped back.
Yes.
And they recently allowed it to be like shipped into the States, so they get it every once in a while.
You can buy
Yeah.
it in the States.
You couldn't when they went. It was 12 years ago. You
Oh.
couldn't buy it in the States 12
Oh.
years ago.
It's
At
like
least
a
not where
recent.
we were.
Well,
They
in the
start-
last 10 years.
Right,
You
but
can.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
actually it
Makes
would have
sense
been
now.
longer than that because I was a senior. So no, we're talking almost, oh my gosh, I don't want to 2005. We're talking 2005.
So long.
That's
so they
been
have
a hot minute.
we went to the Bundaberg like ginger beer brewery, and they have this like map of like all the dots of where like they distribute like where the ginger beer goes to. And ginger beer is not alcoholic. Yes, my children tasted it. It is non-alcoholic. And there's only like I think it was like 3 or 4 places that they actually like import it into in America. And
Mhm.
it's like
Oh,
weird Central American places like Colorado, like weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird places.
but so American military bases get them.
Oh,
they, like-
that might be why.
Yeah. They don't
okay.
count that because
Gotcha.
that's not like
Because I'm
weird.
like, I've been buying ginger beer a long time. I've seen it everywhere. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that
It's
makes
the-
sense. I don't
Yeah.
shop elsewhere.
Yeah, like I could get it here in Japan on base, but like not out in
Yes.
town.
Yeah.
So we did that and taste tested that, and it's actually really good. And I don't really like ginger at all. And it's really, really good. And the kids liked it, and they kind of became like obsessed.
Of course they
And
did.
when we go on vacation mode, we like. Okay, not we. We are on vacation. I say no to like almost nothing.
Well,
like-
it's vacation.
Well,
As
yeah,
you
because
have
you have to do it every day.
Yes. Like if you have eaten a vegetable and drank water, I let my kids do like almost anything within reason,
Right.
right?
Ice cream for
And
breakfast? Yes.
Yes. And Sam is like, we will eat meals, and then like he's very like, we will continue life as normal. I'm like, no, I am the fun police all the time,
Right.
and we can absolutely go to the gift shop. So Claire got like giant stuffed koala and all this stuff. It was great. So we get up there, and then I like side note, I get very, very motion sick. Like
Oh yeah.
I get motion sick on my own paddleboard. I drive most places that we go, not because I like driving, but because I get sick if we don't, especially if the roads are windy. I would actually prefer not to drive, but I also prefer not feeling like I'm going to throw up all the time.
I mean, it was
So
nice for me after surgery. It was really nice to have you as a chauffeur. So
yes,
thanks.
welcome. Anytime. And but I'm like, in my researching this trip, I discovered that you cannot, and I don't know why I thought you cannot, in fact, just like walk out and be in the Great Barrier Reef. I thought it was like we go to a beach and then we just walk and there it is.
And there it is.
It's like Japan. It's not like
Right.
Japan.
Yeah. And much to my dismay, you have to take a boat. Always.
Well, did you see Nemo? Did you
I
see
did.
Finding Nemo?
That's a good point.
There was a boat.
Touch the butt. I'm going to touch the butt.
Touch the
So
butt.
you had to ride a butt.
Yes. I had to ride a butt to get to the Great Barrier Reef, and it's fine. And the tour that we did was fantastic. And they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a really great day to like go out. It's super calm and all this stuff." And so like in my head, super calm is like glass.
Right.
Like there's like
Nothing.
flat. And as I'm explaining this to Sam while I'm like lying on the ground, miserable, just determined to get to the Great Barrier Reef, I was like, "They said it was flat." He's like, "No, they said it was calm." And I was like, "Yes, that means no waves." And he like looked at me. He's like, "It's the ocean."
That's not how that works.
And I was like, "Yeah, so it should be flat if it's calm." And he was like, "It never stops moving. It's the ocean."
You live surrounded by it constantly for the last 5 years.
I know, but I don't.
The East China Sea is pretty calm.
He's trying to see calm, and like I guess because like when I go paddleboarding or whatever, I get into like bays, you
Yeah.
know, and it
Yeah.
like pretty flat. But he was like, "We're in the open ocean." No, finally got to the Great Barrier Reef, and there's this big like dock, and you get to go see some of like the reef islands and
Like a floating dock? There's just like a floating
Yeah.
dock? Nice.
dock, and it's like an underwater jungle. It's literally like everything they described. It's so amazing, and we swam with sea turtles and like.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it was so cool. And I know you can do that in the Karamas, and I know Okinawa has great reefs and diving and all the things, but like there's something about being in the Great Barrier Reef that's just like
it's the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
Great Barrier Reef.
Well, but the Great Barrier Reef, you said like you didn't even go to like the good part. Wasn't somebody saying like,
No.
oh, you went to like the bad part or something?
Yes. Yeah, like several people were like, "Oh, you didn't even like really go to the good part." And I was like, "It gets better." But like if this is bad,
Right.
what is good?
Yeah.
Like what like are schools of fish like swimming like
Around you
like
all the
alongside
time.
me? Are there mermaids? Like how
Do the fish
How-
talk?
Are there
Fish
selkies?
talk?
Do we get into like mythical creatures?
how does it get better? Like I don't know. I don't know how it gets any better than it is right now. So that was really cool. And then we just had to like literally like hightail it back to Brisbane and go to New Zealand. And yeah, we got to New Zealand and
Okay, wait.
Um,
Before we jump into that,
okay,
I want to, but what were the general like temperatures and things while you were in Australia? So you went
in December.
in December, which is summer for them. So general temperatures in Australia.
I would very seriously compare it to like Houston, Texas in the
Okay.
summer. It was hot and humid. And or like
Mhm.
I'd compare it to like Okinawa in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like the same weather.
Right.
So it was really nice for packing
Hmm.
because it's like
Lighter
shorts
things. Yeah.
and t-shirts. And it was like sunny the whole time and beautiful, and yeah, the weather was really strange to like because we had to bring jackets for
Going
New Zealand,
back.
but we also needed it because like Okinawa isn't warm in December.
Mhm.
And then also we were in Tokyo because you have to
Yeah.
get Tokyo to take an international flight, and it's not warm there either.
Mm-mm.
And it was so weird to like show up in Brisbane and like all these people in the airport are in like flip-flops and and like long shirts and stuff like that. And we're like, we came from somewhere cold, don't judge us.
But then was there like when you landed in Did you land in Auckland? Is that what you said? Like you flew to Auckland? I
Yeah.
forget where you said. Okay.
Well, we flew to Brisbane, and then we did Australia, and then we flew to Auckland.
Right. Was there a
Yeah.
big like difference in temperatures?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like not nearly as humid,
Mm.
and it was also not as hot. It was I would say pleasant
Okay.
Gotcha.
instead of hot. Like it was hot in Australia,
Australia.
where we were in Australia, and New Zealand it was pleasant. And I thought that it was going to be like the exact same weather except when we were in the mountains.
Right. And I kind of thought that too because they're not that far from each other.
It totally different weather.
Yeah.
Like totally. And also, I had been checking the weather, so I thought I am a very minimal packer. I only take carry-ons when I can. I don't like lugging baggage. I hate it. It's one of the reasons I hate traveling in the winter because it means I have to take more bags.
Just for shoes alone.
Shoes
Yeah.
and
Well, warm clothes.
big.
Yeah.
So I was like, I am the most phenomenal packer on the planet. We only took 4 carry-ons. Like, I'm great. And then we got to New Zealand, and it was super pleasant in Auckland and lovely. And it's just like super cute harbor city and all this stuff. And then as we start like going places, especially when we got to South Island, I didn't wear shorts
Oh.
once, and I
Yeah.
only packed 2 pairs of like Athleta, like kind of workouty type joggers, and that is what I wore
For the whole time.
Yeah.
the whole time.
Well, you guys, like, you went and saw glaciers.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the southern tip. Like, it's cold
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah. Which I
Oh,
I keep forgetting how far south it goes.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
To I mean, I'm jumping ahead here, but we went to the Antarctic Center.
Yeah.
I remember you sending pictures and being like, "Are you absolutely miserable, Amelia?" You're like, "Yes, yes, I am."
Yeah.
Just being like in
I went.
the like simulation building.
That was awful. And my children loved it. And okay, I'm way jumping ahead in our trip, but I'm just going to say it. So the Antarctic Center, they do this like simulation thing where you can like stick your hand in like in the water that's like as cold as the water in the thing. And it's like, how long can you last? The answer is 3 seconds. Okay, for me.
I mean,
And then in this room where it's like as cold as it is in Antarctica, and then they simulate an Arctic storm, so it's not only just cold, it's cold and it's cold wind,
oh.
like blowing at like many miles an hour. It's
What a good mom you are. As much as you hate cold, what a good mom that you go in and you do that and you
Mhm.
participate and put your hand in the
You
cold water.
did.
I don't know that I would have done
Go,
that.
Amelia.
So good job, mom.
I did.
I was very
I'm
proud of you
impressed.
when you told me that you did it. I also kind of a little bit of my like Amelia heart broke for you. I was like, "Oh no."
It was bad. And there's this thing where you could like ride in the like Arctic cat thing. It's like this little tractor thing that you can go around. And Clara was too short to ride in it. So I stayed with her and Sam went with Josh. And Sam got off and they like have this like track that they take you on and it like goes up and down and all this stuff. And Sam gets off it and he goes, I think that might have been like if you had gone on that, it probably would have been the first circle of hell for you. And I was why? And he's like, it's one, you're in a very small box. It's cold and it like goes up and down and sideways and like I started getting a little nauseous.
Just, oh man. Ew.
Ah,
That's
I
rough.
think I think I would have died. Josh was like, let's do it. He's like, no, only one ticket. Sorry.
You guys went to like the Hobbit like movie lot or whatever while you were there, right?
Yes. So we went to Hobbiton and that's on North Island and it is super touristy, but it is so worth it. Like you are driven into where the set is. It's like still a working like sheep farm. Like this farm. And it's just like this like you know, like as you're driving through the like rolling green hills and like the sunlight is like piercing the clouds and it's just like, are we? And then, you know, you come upon Hobbiton and the OCD person that designed this set,
Oh, I'm sure.
everything is so well done and just like down to like the signboard, you know, like the town signboard. One, it's like small, so it'd be like Hobbit sized or whatever. And then two, it has like actual things written on it instead of like, you know, just like scribbles, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Hobbit ads and like postings, signage and stuff. And it's really cool, actually. Some people, when I was reading about this, have complained about it, but I really liked this. Y'all will be super shocked that I liked this.
Probably.
They take you in groups. So it's like very organized. Like, so it's not just like a free for all where you just like get to wander, hop,
Mm.
go on like a pre-prescribed route in groups. And I was like, yes, exactly. Order and discipline.
Right.
Yes. I mean,
And we walked the line and I loved it. And so you actually got to like experience it instead of like fighting other people to like
Yeah.
see it. And the tour guides tell you like so many like cool movie facts and stuff like that. Like, Peter Jackson, you know, the big oak tree that's on top of Bag End?
Mm-hmm.
Peter Jackson didn't think it was the right shade of green.
Oh.
And so they had art students come in and like suspended art students from a crane with fake leaves and they painted and hot glued on leaves
Oh my gosh.
that's
onto this.
awesome.
And then there's like a line in the Fellowship of the Ring when they're describing Hobbiton and it says something about it being like apples in the apple tree and not plums, and that's what was planted, plum trees. And so Peter Jackson had them like take down or like redo this thing so it could be apples, like the right kind of apples too. And that shot never made it in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I can't even imagine how much money was spent on just that one little thing and then
Right.
they didn't even use it.
And so you know in the third movie when you see the green dragon like on or it's in the second movie in Hobbit in Frodo's like vision through the mirror thing through the water
Oh,
like Galadriel.
yes.
And he sees the green dragon on fire.
Yes.
Okay, actually lit the green dragon on fire.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yes, so they actually lit it on fire. So they built this like set, right? They lit it on fire and it burned too fast. So they shot. So they built it again. And it burned and they lit it on fire again and that same thing happened. Burned too fast, didn't get the shot.
Oh my god.
Built it a third time. And the guy was like, "Yeah," and that's when everybody's like, "Oh yeah, so they did it, right?" Nope. It burned too fast, didn't get the shot.
Oh, good Lord.
Built it a fourth time because Peter Jackson like refused to do
CGI.
like CGI flames. And so they had to like come up with this thing like a way to like make it burn long enough for them to get the shot. And on the fourth try they got the shot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
That's
wild?
ridiculous.
That's insane.
But I love the commitment to detail. Like
Yes.
that part makes me so happy. Like that set designer, that they're my heroes.
I know,
That's
right?
awesome.
We were literally so like we got there and December 1st they opened it up so the groups can go into one of two Hobbit houses. You can actually go inside the Hobbit house. And so we go in this Hobbit house, and the Hobbit house that we went into, the Hobbit lady is a herbalist, you know, and so like she has there's herbs everywhere, and she has two little kids, and the kids have bedrooms, and they've built a fort, and like I have a picture of Clara like playing in this little Hobbit fort. They have a real freaking fire in the fireplace.
Oh my god.
Like,
Oh wow, that's awesome.
you like can't really like obviously health codes and stuff like that. There's exit signs and things,
Right.
but they're like so well built into the set that it's not just like an exit sign or like fire escape sign just like there. And you can pull a scroll like out of this little Hobbit library and open it up and it's like actual like a story written on actual parchment paper. it was so, and we get into the kitchen, and they have like, it smells like there's actually something baking, and you can like stand behind the thing, and there's like a real fire in the little oven thing and all this stuff. And Clara comes up to me and goes, Miss Lacey would love it in here. And I was like,
yes,
oh yeah,
I would. I love her.
like Miss Lacey likes to cook and bake, and she's really good at it. And she goes, no, because everything is so just like. And I was like, you mean incredibly detailed and to like an insane level? And she was like, yeah.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, it sounds about right.
Exactly.
Lacey loves her details.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Almost to the extreme.
The OC person that created that whole inside the Hobbit house, and you would be best friends.
Oh yes, my spirit animal.
They really are. Like, the Hobbit kid beds had like Hobbit kid quilts, and there was like Hobbit little tiny kid toy in the little Hobbit well that you like could dip the bucket in and get up. There are glowworms. Because I'm like,
right.
It was so extra, but like phenomenal. Like extra in the best way possible. It was so good.
I feel like
That's
their purpose was like, we have to take Disney and do it times 100. Like,
yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, do Disney better than Japan, because Disney Japan is a million times better than Disney in America.
it is. And I mean, Disney in America is still really good, but like Disney Japan, the details on that are nuts. I mean, even I didn't get to do the Winnie the Pooh ride because apparently everybody there loves the Winnie the Pooh ride, but I did do the Beauty and the Beast, and that possibly my most favorite Disney ride ever is their Beauty and the Beast ride.
Yeah, we didn't do Disney this go, but the last time, like the Ariel's Grotto, I would have moved in. That was freaking amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
We were comparing, saying that it's like Hobbiton
yes,
they did it better than Disney Japan.
And
Disney Japan is better than America.
Disney Japan is far superior to America.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Insane.
Yeah. No, it really was. It's like, yeah, Hobbiton was fantastic. And then I mean, this is kind of like backing up, but like in New Zealand, the like, I can't remember what they call it, and I always call it the wrong thing. The like parks department, or like
like our national parks department.
Yeah, like kind of. Yeah. They've done such an amazing job with like their signage. And so anytime you see in New Zealand a brown sign with white letters, it's like a trail or like an interesting place to stop, but like natural, like a waterfall or some rock formation or something like that. And all like, there are some drives that we took that would be like an hour or like 2 hours, but it'd take us like 4, because we'd stop at all these places and it's like, oh look, there's a waterfall. Oh look, there's a waterfall. Oh look, here's like a place where they filmed Lord of the Rings. And like, oh look, here's like another trail to this like glass, like this mirror looking lake. And like
that's awesome.
Here you can see this creature. Yeah. And
you guys biked a lot too, right?
We biked once.
Oh, okay.
Much to my husband's chagrin. He did not want to bike. He did not want to go do this bike thing because it's mountain biking. Air quotes. And he, I think, pictured like going down a ravine on a very like steep and like narrow path with our 2 very small children.
Right.
And I picked the like easiest trail for our little adventure, and it's like the most family friendly one, as advertised on the website. And it just so happens to like end at a winery.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. That's definitely not why I picked the trail.
No, not at all. Not even a perk of why you picked the trail. It just happened to be there.
Mm-hmm. But the company that we use does this really cool thing where like you can choose to like rent the bike so you can like go along one of the trails and then come back to where you rented the bike. Or you can rent the bike and go along the trail, and then when you get to like a certain end point, they'll come pick you up.
Oh,
Oh, nice. That's good with
And
kids.
yeah,
yes, Sam also was like, "That's ridiculous," and I was like, "It's not.
it's not.
You can bike back, and you know, if this were our honeymoon, we could bike back, but
You have 2 kids.
Josh probably could have made it back because it was like 4 hours of biking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Josh definitely could have made it back, most likely. Clara was done at like hour 3:45. Like 3 hours and 45 minutes. She was fully done on the bike.
Then she made it much longer than she does on hikes.
Yes.
Or walks in general.
I was
Like,
gonna say,
we took her on a 400-meter walk, and she was like, "No, I'm done." Like
like
20
Amelia
feet
with
in.
runs.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so we did discover on this trip that her upper limit for hiking is also like 4 hours. Is like her upper limit.
Oh, nice.
But that is hiking on like a very gentle trail with a lovely slow incline. Anything challenging, she's at like maybe 2 hours, and then she'd tell us, she'd go, "I've seen a whole lot of green today. I think I'm done."
That's amazing.
And we're like, "But there's more beautiful green things to see." And she's like, "I think I've seen enough."
My
She
turn.
just did not. Hi.
I don't know what she's doing.
Hi, little lurker.
Yeah. They're trying to say hi to you, but
I'm just texting. I'm just texting you hello, so I don't interrupt.
oh no, this is Zoe. She's tickling me. Stop that.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, but biking was amazing. The wine is really good. And we like bike along this like gorge, and you see, oh gosh, and you see this like river that's like ice blue. And again, it's one of those moments that, like, did they dye that? Like, that's not natural,
Right.
right? Like, that can't be real. Like, this isn't real. That's what things look like.
That's incredible.
Hi, Zoe. And
I'm
we
gonna.
were in.
Do you want this child? Does either of you want
Sure.
this child? Because
I'll take her.
You can send her here. I'll take her.
I'll take her. She has to homeschool if she comes here, though.
She would be fine with that. She'll
Same.
homeschool either way. Oh well, see, then you better leave. And now she's a bunny rabbit.
So
Yeah.
was the food good too? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
The food was good, and then people in Okie will appreciate this. Our berries are very expensive here.
Very.
And Clara is like a berryaholic.
Yes.
And she loves any form of berry.
No, I remember Emma was watching Clara, and she was like, "Man, I think all she's had today is just these blueberries, like frozen or otherwise." Like, she just kept like coming out with cups and cups of blueberries. So
Yes.
Well, and I
I
remember
remember she'd come over. Like, I'd have to limit her. Like, I would go to the grocery store, and I'm like, "Okay, honey, I literally just bought these. My kids haven't had any in a while."
and I remember one of the first times when the kids were at the house. Not one of the first times, just one of the times they were at the house. I guess it was when strawberry season was happening, and Emily's like, wait. Don't share fruit with my kids because they won't stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right. Well, I mean, they can just go, like, as long as they're eating them with my kids, fine. But yeah,
You can't. Like, we had to switch Clara to frozen berries.
That's a good idea.
Does not
Especially in
understand.
Okinawa.
Yes.
Especially in Okinawa. But like, also she's like, well, but I want strawberries. I'm like, but they're out of season.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we should just some. No,
Yeah.
they're out of. We cannot get them now that they're gone. So, we're in New Zealand, and Claire comes up with this like 1 pound like Costco size thing of strawberries, and I was like, "Do you want to go to college, little girl? You better put that back." Like in Okinawa, that's like $25 of strawberries.
Yeah.
And that's the low end of strawberries. Like, there are different tiers of strawberries in Okinawa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And she's like, "No, mommy, it's like $5." And I was like, "No, it's not." And she's like, yes. I was like, you're reading the sign wrong, but okay, I'll come humor you. Because the U.S. dollar was pretty strong when we were going. I don't know what it is right now. And so like 5 New Zealand dollars is like 3 U.S. dollars, and I was like, there's no way. She had in fact read the sign wrong. But the 1 pound of strawberries was like $5 and some change
Oh,
in America.
in America.
Nice.
American dollars. It was like $5 and some change. I was like, yep, get it.
Yep.
Get two.
I was gonna say, did you buy like 4 of them?
Every time we went to a store, Clara walked out with like at absolute bare minimum 2 pounds of berries.
She's in heaven. Little mini
she
That's
heaven.
awesome.
was. And they call trolleys or like I don't know. I don't actually like call anything very specific, like shopping carts,
Yeah.
buggies, whatever.
Yeah.
They call them trundlers.
Oh,
Yes.
And I've never been more in love with a word.
yeah.
And I so desperately want that to be a thing.
Well, we can make it a thing.
America. Like
Trundlers.
everyone should call them a trundler because that's the best word.
Yeah. That's good. I didn't know that. Like I've heard it trolley, I've heard it all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
heard trundler before.
Never. And they have like, and it says signs and it's like, return your trundler here. And if we had not seen like other shopping carts in there, Sam and I would have been like,
What is that?
That's amazing. That's awesome.
do we have
So-
a trundle?
Right?
Yeah.
Were the berries and the price of berries, like, was that Clara's favorite part, or was it holding a koala?
Mm.
I think so. I think that in Australia, the animals, like holding a koala. We also went to like the koala sanctuary, and then she got to hold a koala there too, and pet more wallabies and stuff. So the animals and like snorkeling. Both my kids really love the water, so all the animal things in Australia was 100% Clara's favorite. And then in New Zealand, she did not like the like straight hiking
Yeah.
too, but she liked the destinations that we hiked to. It's like once we
Yeah.
got there, super into it. And they really loved all like the rivers and skipping rocks like into the rivers and the lakes. And we went. She actually did like the biking until the very end when she was just kind of done with it. But she's 7, and that's what she liked. Josh in Australia, it was the animals for him too, and in New Zealand, all of the like Lord of the Rings things, all of them.
Oh, okay. So has
He
he read
loved-
the books or watched the movies?
He's listened to the books and watched the movies.
Okay.
So he loved seeing all the sets, or like not the sets, but just the locations for filming.
Mhm.
He really liked the hiking. He liked, and we only went to like 2 like history museums, and Josh is such like a little history nerd, so he loved that, and it was really cool to see, like to experience that with him. He loved the Antarctic Center. Clara was like solely in the Antarctic Center for the penguins.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
her
Yeah.
only reason for tolerating this experience was the penguin and then the cold thing. And there's like penguins in the wild in New Zealand,
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
both kids really liked that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So for you and Sam, was like the favorite of the trip the Great Barrier Reef?
I don't think I have like a number one.
Mm.
Do you have something in each like location? Like
Yeah.
not even just Australia and New Zealand, but like each location in
Yeah. Like in Brisbane, it was this, or I guess like the area-ish of Brisbane. Steve Irwin Zoo, Great Barrier Reef. In like North Island, I'd have to say the Coromandel, which is like this like cliffy beach area. And they have a lot of like hot springs, and there's this beach called Hot Water Beach, and you like dig down into the sand and it like fills with like hot water.
Oh wow,
Oh.
that's cool.
Thermic activity.
wow.
So probably that in that like area, and then in like the Rotorua general area, definitely Hobbiton, 100%. And then South Island, I can't pick. That's like where most of the like filming locations were and all that stuff. It was just so beautiful. Definitely like the Franz Josef Glacier, and all that stuff. I can't pick from South Island.
That's
Everything.
awesome.
That
Do
is.
it all.
And so you had some, like, how much of this did you find yourself? How much did you have help with?
So I did Australia by myself, because we were only in Australia for like a week ish. And then New Zealand, it's actually talking to one of the moms. It's actually Josh's CC. She's actually Josh's tutor for CC. And I was telling her, I was like, I'm so overwhelmed by this New Zealand trip. There's so much to do, and I don't know how to narrow it down or like where to go and distances and all this stuff. And they were going to New Zealand as well. We actually like overlapped our trip by like 5 days, but we were in different parts. She was like, oh, well, you should use this travel planner. And I've never in my life used a travel planner. And at the time I was so overwhelmed that I was like, absolutely, I will do it 100%. Really, really she came super highly recommended by Josh's tutor. And I scheduled a meeting with her. And she preferred you to not have your trip planned. Like, like that, just like plane tickets. Because then she's like, well, then we have to work around like what you've already done, and it's a little harder.
Yeah.
So did a little interview about what we like and how old our kids are, and like, are we outdoorsy? Do we mostly want to be inside? Is this like a see everything vacation? Is it a relaxing vacation? All the things. And then she just plans your whole trip.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
2 hours she planned the entire trip.
Wow.
And you get a spreadsheet, and she has like things to do on it, and yeah, like and she doesn't give you like specific times, because she's like, she starts with the thing you want to, like, you should do, like the absolute must see, and then kind of goes down the day as like, like if you get to this, fine, and if you miss it, that's fine.
Yeah.
We had like a list of like 6 to 10 things to do every day, and sometimes we
That's
did one,
awesome.
we did 4, and sometimes we did all of them.
That's cool.
It was really cool. Yeah.
Does
will you use her again?
Oh yeah. Well, her big thing is New Zealand. Her little company, I think. Well, she runs it. I don't really know the whole ins and outs of the company.
He's emotionally running behind us.
I love that. It's the New Zealand Tips for Travel. Highly, highly recommend.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like specific to that area for the most part. Okay.
Australia as well. I think I've seen it on the page that she does Australia as well.
Okay. Is she in New Zealand?
Yes, she is a Kiwi.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it a lot easier. I mean, then again, like I know quite a few people here who, when they come and ask me, I'm like, I live here. I don't tourist here. Like, whatever it is, like it's hard to know even your own place. Like I was having a discussion with somebody.
Like, your family comes to Okinawa, and you like and they're like, what are we gonna do? And you're like,
I love it when people start posting on the group pages then, and they're like, my family is coming. What do we do?
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, here we go. And then you get everybody else's stuff because their family came and they asked, and then they do the things. Because the rest of the time we move so much, but we just make our lives, like, we start living and we try to do some of the fun things, but we don't necessarily. So I'm glad that you found somebody who could help you.
When we were there because of COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
That put a damper on a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
For us anyway. So
well, and then because if nothing else, if we had the availability to go do it, it might be closed and we couldn't do it anyway.
Or
in Japan keeps weird hours.
Or what?
Or in a red zone.
Or in a red zone.
Yeah.
Or it turned red while you were there.
Yeah.
That was always fun.
Okay.
That was especially harrowing when dancers were coming back and we're like, are they going to be on stage or are they not? What's happening?
Oh, yeah.
Please be safe. Please don't turn red while they're there. All was fine.
Yeah,
but
I think that happened to Jeremy when he was coming back from the States and where he was flying through. And it was
he was going
to have to quarantine. Yeah, and he was going to have to quarantine, and we had like a show or something, and I was already like under your guys's spell of joining you.
We've reeled you in already.
Exactly. I didn't realize how far in I was. Anyway, okay, so that was New Zealand tips for travel. She might to Australia, but like, so she had a lot of things, but tips, like, what are your tips? I know you're a light packer. What are your other good like tips that really helped you?
So travel wise, a very, very wise mom who has far more children than I do or will ever have once told me that like traveling is not the time to be a good parent. Like specifically like while you are like in the car, in the airplane, in the train. Like this is the time to like make your kids happy. Um and we've always done that, and as a result we have really, really wonderful happy travelers.
That's good.
So like, you know, the kids get a soda on the airplane and they get to watch, we like kind of starve them of iPad. Um, and then they get to watch iPad and play Switch for like however long they want. And we don't like really, they can eat what they want and stuff like that. So that is my tip for like actual traveling. Like this is not the time to like enforce your like rules. Like you must eat vegetables. Let them eat the M&Ms. Like they're happy. Just it's fine.
Yeah.
Through with the ride and then like circle back to your whatever your rules are. But for Australia, I would say bring don't bring buy stuff there, like your sunscreen and your whatever, because a lot of places like required reef safe sunscreen.
Right. And they're going to have actual reef safe sunscreen.
Have there and also like it was cool to like go into like Australian Target and Australian Kmart.
Yeah.
You know, like that was just like cool. So I would say like get your stuff there. You don't really need to pack all that.
And it saves space.
And it saves space. And like take all the pictures and rent a car 100%. Like don't try to do public transport. Rent a car. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And also, my big tip is a Toyota Corolla in Australia and a Toyota Corolla in America are two very different sized vehicles. So look up whatever car you're renting in whatever country you're going to, because while it might be named something similar, it's
not the same.
It will not be the same car. And again, I packed 4 carry-on suitcases, and we had to upgrade our car when we got there because there was no room.
Oh,
that's insane.
Yeah,
like the trunk is tiny.
Yes. Also, look up whatever the country's booster seat laws are. Because we found out that Clara would have to be in a booster seat in both places, kind of like in America, like a full backed booster seat because of her weight. And renting a booster seat would have been $25 extra a day.
Oh.
So you packed that?
Yeah, we just brought the booster seat because they fly for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It up and you won't have like a nasty surprise.
Yeah, especially for that period of time.
Yes. Yeah. My New Zealand tips.
Yeah. What about like tricks or advice in general? Like anything that you guys do? Obviously, like flying overnight, not the greatest plan.
No, flying overnight is not the greatest plan. Some people love it and do it, but like we just are not those people.
But I do like the tip that they gave you about if you're doing that, get the hotel for the night before.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
Especially like even dropping off your bags if you're like not like Amelia, like you can go and sleep in the plane and get there, you're gonna want to drop off your bags. So that's a great idea. That's a great one.
You always feel gross to get off the plane, so you might want to shower.
Or at least change your clothes, like
change clothes. So like, yeah, booking the hotel for the night of is good, and that was a tip that I took, and I highly, highly recommend. And then New Zealand, everybody warns you about how strict their customs is, and they're not wrong. Like if you have been bring an extra toothbrush or buy one that you're gonna chuck and clean like the inside of your shoes and like the treads of your shoes, because they were so strict with that, and like they'll inspect your shoes. eat the exotic food. That's my other tip. Like I think a lot of people try to like stick to what you're doing.
They know.
But
Yeah.
not like what you eat at home, but we got like one dish always that was like something unique trying to the region. I mean, you're kind of back in like Western culture again, you know? So
Right.
food isn't that different, but it was cool. Try the thing.
What's the weirdest thing you guys tried?
I think Sam tried kangaroo.
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't try that.
what did he think?
I
How
wouldn't
was
have
it?
the heart.
How was it prepared? Like fried or grilled or?
Can't remember.
Okay. Did he like it?
I think it was like a part of something.
Mm. So like
Mm.
in a dish.
I think it was in a dish, and I think we neither one of us really knew. And then we were like, "Oh my gosh, it's kangaroo." But they just, I mean, just like different like seasonings and things. The coffee in everybody's like, "Oh, the flat white is so good," and I was like, "Whatever." It is so good.
I wish I could have been there for that. That
Yeah.
that would have been right up my alley.
Go to the local places. You know, like there's always McDonald's and all that stuff, but like go to the local places and see that. And also embrace being a tourist. You're a tourist.
Yeah. Just be a
Embrace
tourist.
Yeah, don't try to blend in. Yeah.
Like be a tourist. You're
Of all the places you were actually blending in. Like you actually blended in for the time you were there. So
until we opened our mouths.
right, right. But you
Yeah.
could just walk around and look like everybody else versus the few years before that. So what would you do differently? Is there anything you would do differently?
I'd go longer.
I like that.
So a month was not long enough.
No. I'd go longer and I'd get bigger rental cars.
The rental car thing seems to be everywhere outside of the US. We just have giant cars, and so we're just never
do.
used to.
I mean, it's not even that either. It's like we did so much driving that it was like it got uncomfortable eventually.
Yeah.
You know, and like there were times when we wanted to feed the kids like in the car, and it's like really hard to like be passing food back and stuff because we're like cramped.
Is there anything that you guys wanted to do that you didn't?
So many things. Just because like time. So we wanted to go to like the furthest southern point in New Zealand, and we wanted to go, there's this whole like glacier, like more glacier area. We wanted to do that. In my heart, I wanted to do the ferry from North to South Island, but I don't know if that would work out well in like practice.
Right. How long is that ferry? I mean, do you know?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, you may not have felt very well after
I
doing
probably
that.
wouldn't have felt very well, but I wanted to like see the fjord lands and stuff like that. And there was so much more. I can't even list it all now. There was more beaches. We wanted to see more of the black sand beaches. We wanted to spend like more time in North Island. Yeah. I literally can't even list it all.
Well, you sold me.
But we really wanted to go to Lake Tekapo, and we just didn't get to do that. Mount Cook, we wanted to go to Mount Cook, and we didn't get to do that. Like, I have no regrets on this trip, and if it is the only time that we go to Australia and New Zealand, I'm like super happy. But if I could, I'd go longer so we could see those things.
I think we call for an episode of the virtual compound to be recorded over periods of time in Australia and New Zealand. Multiple. We'll just do months worth of it while we're down there.
100%. I will say, so we thought about doing like an RV because a lot of people do that in New Zealand. They get an RV.
Yes. I had friends that did that the last summer or last spring.
Oh, nice.
When we were looking, RVs were $300 a day.
Ooh.
And that does not include gas. And I know that like that is within some people's budget, but for me personally, if I am spending $300 a night, I am in a very bougie hotel.
Right. Yeah, I'm there with you, I think, on that one.
My hotel. I am in a hotel and it is bougie.
Well, I mean, it's your car too.
But yeah, but
But like the roads, New Zealand is a small country, and the roads are small like Japan. And the speed limit is, whilst higher than Japan, there are like so many times that there are these RVs and they're like, going down these like mountainous pass roads, and you're just like watching this thing like
Leaning.
leaning, and then
leaning
like
into the curb.
there's like not guardrails,
Oh man.
and it's just like,
But they made it.
Maybe
They may-
maybe I do a pop-up camper. Like not a full RV, but like a pop-up camper. With a detachable thing where if it's going, like I just push a button and down it goes and I keep going.
yeah, like in the old cartoons.
Yes. I
Um,
actually one of my favorite Mickey cartoons. Like you basically just described it and it's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy in an RV and they're like doing all this stuff. It's like my most favorite one ever. It reminds me very much of what you just explained. But more chaotic because it's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, so you know everything's going wrong. But
yeah.
either way, you sold me on the trip, and
Yeah.
so I will be working on getting us there at some point. I don't know when.
Well, so what's the one thing that exceeded expectation? Like not the thing that just went right, but the thing that went so right that it was beyond expectations.
In Australia, the Steve Irwin Zoo. And then in New Zealand, so North Island, Hobbiton, 100%. South Island, like Fox and Franz Joseph, the two glaciers that we saw.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that was like everyone was in awe and it was just kind of like a perfect family moment each of those times. That's awesome.
Yeah.
A must. Did we cover that? Did we cover
No,
what
I
the
think
must was?
if you only had, well, I mean, yes, kind of, but like if you only had one day in Australia or New Zealand, we'll say one each, what's a must do in both of those places? I'm assuming like Hobbiton, but like maybe we do like a must go here for food or something like that, because obviously the Great Barrier Reef, Hobbiton, and the Steve Irwin Zoo are your big hits for everyone. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I'd also say the Franz Joseph and Fox Glacier though. Like if you only had one day,
right,
in New Zealand, maybe that like over Hobbiton.
Oh, okay.
Had one day in New Zealand, I'd say either one of those glaciers because they're disappearing.
right.
Like
yeah,
and they're gonna be gone in our lifetime, and that'll be it. And then in Australia, I'd probably say the Great Barrier Reef for the same reason.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be gone like before our kids are like even like in our lifetime, it'll cease to exist.
That's so depressing.
I know. So those two things, food. I don't know. We ate so many places. You have to get any kind of gelato in New Zealand, and I don't know in Australia. We ate so many places.
Was the giant donut place or whatever, was that New Zealand or Australia?
I was gonna ask about that one too.
That was so good. Yes, that was so good. Sam was like so anti-giant donut place. Did I tell you all this?
No.
Mm-mm.
Like in typical Sam fashion, right? Like I'm like, we're gonna go to this donut place, and he's like, nah. He's like, is his reaction to it? And we get there, and the kids' eyes just like light up because there are these donuts that are just piled with absolute trash, like icing and gummy bears and like edible glitter and like a little syringe that you like inject more chocolate into and on top of the donut and balls of cookie dough and just like
a lollipop. Didn't Claire's have a lollipop or cotton candy or something stupid? Yeah.
A lollipop. Like, yeah. I mean, just so extra, right? Like Oreos and chocolate sauce and all just full Oreos. Craziness, right? And the kids are like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And Sam was like, well, they can split one. And I was like, no.
No.
That sounds awful.
Right.
So they each got, And then I turned to him and I was like, do you want a donut? And he was like, I'll share with you. I was like, again,
No.
no.
If you want one, you have to get your own.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're married and I share my whole life with you, but I'm not sharing this donut with you. Okay? I need, like, eyes. Okay? I'm not sharing this donut with you. I need you to understand that. And he's like, I don't really want one. Okay, so my donut comes out, and I got the cookie dough donut, which was like warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies and like donuts. Whatever. Fantastic. So good. So good. And Sam's like, hey, can I have a bite of that? Get your own donut. So I did give him a bite.
Oh, well,
'Cause
that was sweet of you.
And then he tried to like eat the rest of it. And I was like, yeah, because and you wanted go get your own donut.
Did he go get one?
No.
No. Well, no, that's his loss. All right. Is that a food? Yeah, no, that's 2 for New Zealand, but I don't care. Well, it can overrun Australia.
They're better for food then.
I know, right?
I mean, I think it's just because like New Zealand is like North and South Island, so I always consider it like 2 different. It's not 2 different places, it's a country, but like I kind of consider it like 2 different things. I mean, eating at the Steve Irwin Zoo was some of the best food that I've had in a really long time because it's like all local and like fresh ingredients and all this stuff. Oh my gosh. And I sent you all this picture of the coffee and they like, it's a latte and they like make like muddy on top, but it's like cocoa that they put on top and they put like a crocodile in it. So it looks like, like, that was cool.
We have to share some of these pictures in the pre-post for this.
It's like so touristy and just ridiculous, but amazing.
But you were a tourist, so it's fine.
I am. It was fantastic.
Amelia, thank you so much for telling us all about Australia and New Zealand. I think that you have not only enticed both Katie and I to go, but others, and we truly appreciate all the insight that you gave us. Thank you for sharing your vacation with us.
No overseas vacation, journey, or trip would be complete without a little bit of drama. Tune in next week for a special bonus episode of Amelia's epic finale to her Australia and New Zealand trip and what it really took to get her back to Okinawa, along with her luggage. Plus, there'll be some special virtual compound extras for you. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more bonus content, and make sure that you comment to say hi and tell us what you loved about this episode.